Welcome back to this pre-Christmas episode of the Home of the Chiefs. We'll discuss the last two games and forecast the Steelers' Christmas showdown. All that and more next.
Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Cheese. Welcome, pre-Christmas edition of the Home of the Chiefs podcast, where the Chiefs are our home. Clinton and Shannon are back at you this short week 16 into week 17 little transition here. We have
very short
Monday and Tuesday, and all of a sudden we have Christmas games coming up, and the week is technically a day sooner, and all the content about the game that we just watched goes out the window, and we got to focus on this Christmas game coming up. So that's why we may be kind of frantic a bit trying to get some stuff out to you. And it's like, man, y'all are double, triple posted on this. And it's like, yeah, because we got a lot of stuff to get out to you and in a timely manner. So hopefully you guys enjoy that stuff. And Shannon's got her video coming out very soon. Mm-hmm. And obviously this podcast is hitting the hitting the timeline today, and we'll have some stuff going for Christmas Eve and obviously the game on Christmas Day. So don't think that you guys are getting away from us this week.
No.
We are taking a little break with our daily articles just for that team to get but the content on our side is not stopping here, and it doesn't stop here as we officially go ahead and transition into our first topic, which I have dubbed Burned the Browns. So the Browns were, I'm calling it the unlucky 13th win, not unlucky for the Chiefs, but for the Browns to be the 13th victim, and beating the Browns quite handily. So what are your thoughts about the Browns game where we won 21-7, basically didn't do anything, and sure, the offense didn't do much, but the defense had 6 turnovers and basically just kind of shut the game down.
Yeah, I feel like this game was pretty much like a routine. Like, oh, we're going to win, but it's just like, how are we going to win? Like you said, the offense didn't really do much, but I think like the defense really showed they were the dominant ones. They were going to come out, win this game, so the offense could like take a little breather, make sure they're ready for these next few games, because it's going to be back to back to back, and they're going to have to be ready, and they're going to have to go for it. So I think that this game, the offense really felt like they could take a back seat because of the situation with the Browns and everything. And I feel like it's just a normal routine game, a normal routine win for us. And I think that they did pretty well, like showing that they were showing up, but I think they could do better. But I think they were also trying to be a little bit lax on this game because they knew they had a hard schedule.
Yeah, and the Texans talk is, I think we'll both agree that they upped their play level there. But, it was nice to see at least them beat a team by double digits, not have all these close games in a row. And, the Browns are at a low point in their season and not trying to play for much, but every team tries to play well against the Chiefs. Yeah. But Jameis Winston and the Browns this season notorious for hurting themselves in the process, and the Chiefs were very lucky to be on the super winning side of that, not having any turnovers of their own.
Yeah.
And picking up 6 turnovers on their side. So if you win by that much, arguably we should have won by way more than that. But with Joe Tooney kind of being put at left tackle to start, like as soon as the game is going against Myles Garrett, a very tough opponent, and that second half attack that he dealt out, and how we were slowly trying to overcome that, it was a testament to that the team is still working on what their best, roster lineup and all that stuff going into the playoffs is. So that wasn't a game that they could afford to tinker with some stuff and still win handily by 2 touchdowns and really not have the game in question at any point. Went up 7-0, even though they didn't get the offensive touchdown right away. They got the special teams that allowed them to go up 7-0, and then the Browns were chasing the Chiefs ever since then.
Yep.
So I agree they did up their levels a little bit. I think the defense was excited that this is a game where our efforts kind of get to showcase, and all the behind the scenes work can equate to actual statistics like interceptions and turnovers on downs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the defense got to really reflect on the work, and then the week to follow to see the momentum continue to build in their favor. But yeah, I agree overall. It's kind of a game that gets lost in your memory, especially knowing the game we just got done seeing, and our next segment happens less than a week later.
Yep.
All these games just get shoved together in your mind, and it's all a bunch of weeks put together in kind of a gauntlet of this time through this time. I kind of remember bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to say that game wasn't memorable or meant to share details and reflect on longer, but it was just a game where the Chiefs were way better than their opponent. It showed.
Yep.
And it showed on the stat sheet, and it showed on the scoreboard. And sure, the offense didn't play a perfect game, but they're notorious kind of for playing to the competition level.
Mm-hmm.
And the Browns were not there to play offense that game, and so arguably anybody from the Chiefs side could line up and win that game.
Yeah, that's true.
So overall, it was good to see a win, with 2 touchdowns as a score difference there to really indicate that, I'm not saying the Chiefs took the game seriously, but they felt the need to kind of beat an opponent that's lesser than them to a degree.
Yeah.
And kind of prepare themselves for the harder stretch of games that they had to come after that, and of which that we are going to transition to here shortly. So you have any kind of last thoughts about that Browns game as we're then heading into that Saturday matchup?
Not really. Not like you said, it was kind of just one of those routine games and wasn't super memorable. And I feel like for me, at least, the home games are more memorable because I'm there and I just am in it. But if I'm watching it on TV, sometimes maybe I'll get distracted, be on my phone, whatever, and I don't take it as seriously, I guess. So it's one of those things where, yeah, it was one of those games where it's just I don't really remember much, but at least we won.
McDuffie got his first interception and went in a game where interceptions were being handed out left and right.
That's true, yeah.
He finally got on the board, and that was the most memorable part of the game.
Yeah.
And it gets overshadowed in the next game. But
sure.
Before we go ahead and transition into our next topic, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to like and subscribe and follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. You can also find all of the contributors individually on all of the social media accounts that we're on. Most of us have the same names, but if we don't, just look for a previous post, and I'm sure you'll be able to look for us and find us on whatever platform you like to follow us on. But mostly on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Make sure you're liking and commenting on all of our videos. We have live streams, one of which that we just had on Saturday. And if you haven't already, make sure you can go check out that previous episode. Also, perhaps you would like to be on a future episode of the Home of the Chiefs podcast, maybe this season or in the playoffs, get one special playoff edition.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to be on this show and give your fandom a talking about, get to share your history and what you think of the team, and get to dish out all your hot takes, whether they're hot or cold, we'll accept them all. Don't even have to be a Chiefs fan. Don't even have to be that big of a Chiefs fan. Just if you are somebody who wants to get on here and talk about your fandom of any kind and just wants to be able to experience sports media in some capacity, just reach out to us and we'd love to have you on.
Yes.
Perhaps you're a written content enjoyer. We've got our Substack that you can subscribe to. As I alluded this beginning part of the show, we will not have our normal daily updates Monday through Friday this week. We will be back a week later, but we do have some paid content for $5 a month that can get you our pregame and postgame articles, which are still in effect for this and next week. So maybe you'd like to upgrade your experience on Substack and be able to read one of Rod or Daily Dale's articles about the games. And last but not least, you can see it because we're both actually coordinated to wear it today for this episode, just for you guys. We have our merch. We've got t-shirts, and currently for the audio viewers, I've got a hoodie on underneath this shirt just because of the nature of living here in the Midwest. And, maybe you reach out to us and say, hey, I'd love to buy one of your shirts, but also could we possibly get in a future order for a Red Kingdom Media branded hoodie? And I'll say, oh, definitely, we'll get back to you and figure out what that would cost and what it would entail. But we really need some of these shirts to start flying out of inventory for us to want to upgrade our inventory. So if you want to show love to the brand and you want to purchase a shirt, make sure to reach out to any of the contributors. Just reach out to us, say I'm interested in this, give us your size, and we'll start that invoice process with you. Moving on to the game that we just attended on Saturday, Tune versus the Texans. The Chiefs defeated the Texans 27-19 for win number 14, which ties a season high record. So going into this Christmas game, if the Chiefs pull out that win, they will get their 15th franchise win, which will be the most all time.
That's amazing. So
first, this Texans game. What do you make of it, and who are your offensive and defensive MVPs?
I thought it was a great game. It was a lot of fun to be there and just kind of be in that atmosphere, because I feel like everyone was like yelling at the top of their lungs. Like we were just like having so much fun, just like trying to make them go and like go down to the clock and go to zero. And it was just so fun. And I feel like my offensive MVP was Worthy, because he had that, like, he was the presence, I feel like. And he went for 65 yards receiving. He had that one touchdown towards the end of the third quarter. That one was really memorable to me. And then he did some rushing as well. He went for some rushing yards. And then my defensive MVP is McDuffie, just because he did have that one interception. I feel like he came out and just was like, I'm going to get this. This is mine. And he went for it. And that was really cool. And he also had those tackles for loss on the screens that he took. And then he did fight through those blockers to get where he needed to be. So he really showed up. He was the one to be like I said, he was just like, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the reins this game.
I agree. This game, I shared my opinion on the post game as well. This game for me was kind of a breath of fresh air. I'm not saying the Chiefs on either side played perfect or that there weren't times of the game that weren't close or left you kind of curious what the next result was going to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Chiefs decided to up their level because of the competition that they were playing against. And so we saw the offense be a little more pass efficient. I think that they could still stand to run the ball a lot more and commit to that, especially with their rotation of offensive line, who plays where and what, as they're starting to figure that out as the last few weeks dwindle down. But I feel like they were more confident to kind of throw the ball over the yard, get Hollywood Brown involved, showcase Xavier Worthy, normal D-Hop got his standard. You didn't quite see or hear as much of Travis Kelce, but that didn't mean that he wasn't making an impact where it was. But I think, from the offensive side, I might give it to some of those other secondary receivers, the ones who are playing underneath Worthy and who have a little more experience that are going to be able to coach him up and kind of dig into his head. No, it's all right if you're the number one receiver, or you get most of the targets or whatever the rest of this game. You're not going to insult or offend anybody or hurt anybody's feelings. Like, in the end of the day, it's just about getting the win. And whoever's the open guy gets the ball. And if you're the open guy, then just make the play. There's been several times this season where Worthy has kind of failed to do that, more on some deep passes. But it'd be nice to see that connection with Mahomes kind of hashed out these next few weeks before we maybe don't see the Chiefs on the field for a while. So all the connection kind of has to be made now, because it won't be made when everyone's kind of sitting, resting, and waiting to play another game again. And then I think the defense played very well, all things considered. 2 sacks total. I feel like there was definitely a lot more of those to be had that we just didn't get to finish. 2 interceptions, one by McDuffie, back-to-back games. Shout out to him. But that was nice to see that the turnovers that happened versus the Browns were also carrying over versus the Texans against a much better, no offense to Jameis Winston, but a much better quarterback in C.J. Stroud, who, not saying is playing perfect at this point right now, has his own struggles and whatnot, but just a higher level of competition, was able to make those stops, made a couple of red zone, just shutdowns, either for 3 or the interception in the end zone or whatever the case. They were able to kind of make plays and kind of fend off the Texans, and we were able to beat them by 8 points. In terms of who really starred for me on defense, I really don't have anything bad to say about the linebackers, which, sometimes they can get kind of caught, like Najee Johnson, Joshua Williams, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil. Some of those guys, not saying all those are linebackers, but a lot of those guys will get called out because of just how the offense is going against them. It's like over the middle of the field, that receiver, that tight end is probably the guy who gets open versus the Chiefs. And then is it the defender's fault who's several yards away from him for not being in the right spot, or is it the defensive call? You can argue back and forth. But I'm not, upset by any effort levels. I think, we're not quite dialed all the way up. I think we're, slowly approaching past the midpoint. And, going into this short week, I wonder how intense we'll truly see the Chiefs be. Because we had just heard Josh Allen after, beating the Patriots last night, as we're recording this on Monday. And I was saying, us, the Bills, we're probably not going to show everything because we don't have a reason to show everything. And, they just said the thing out loud that I thought the Chiefs had been kind of thinking and communicating to the media, kind of hush wise, that we have things and we're not going to showcase them yet because, teams just aren't, quote, worthy enough. So now that we're going to play teams that are, quote, worthy, they're going to get the special plays, the no mercy type of mentality. So again, not a perfect game by any means. The Chiefs definitely could have played better, but to your standpoint, I think it was a great game in general. Close games are usually more enjoyable for people. Even though us Chiefs fans can watch a 56-0 game and be totally satisfied because of the end result. But
True.
the average TV football watcher probably prefers a game that's back and forth, and that was pretty much this game.
Yeah.
I never felt like this game was completely out of reach for the Chiefs like I had in some previous weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
They were definitely put under some pressure and needed to kind of showcase and up their play levels at times. But I never was truly worried that I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to pull this out.
Yeah, neither was I. I felt like we had it, but we just needed to fight for it and not let them have the advantage. Because we came out having that advantage. We got that interception right out of the gate and got that touchdown. So we really had that advantage over them the very first quarter. So
right. Yes. Like the Chiefs got a lead and were able to hold it, even if they kind of gave it up a bit towards the second half. Like their statistics have shown that they're capable of having happened to them, but they were still able to kind of take advantage of the situations that they were placed in and did the job that needed to be done.
Yep.
And I think that's where we're both kind of ending this off is it was refreshing to see the Chiefs put a little more effort into a game. And we hope that based on the rest of the teams that the Chiefs have on their schedule and will have once the playoffs are official, it just shows and kind of lessens that fear that we're going to get completely exposed against a good team, because we are capable of raising our play levels against those good teams. And last but certainly not least is our final topic, which is this black and yellow Christmas game that we have as the Kansas City travels for a Christmas noon kickoff, a Wednesday for those who aren't paying attention to the holiday itself, a Wednesday game against the Steelers here for week 17. So what are your expectations for this game? And if and when the Chiefs win this game, is the number one seed completely wrapped up in your mind?
I think that they are going to try at this game because they are wanting that number one seed and they're just wanting to wrap it up like you said, and they feel like if they don't try this game, they're going to be feel like they're behind in their mind. So I think they're going to come out and win this game. It might be a fight. It probably will be a fight because we've seen all the other games were pretty close. So I think this one's probably going to be pretty close. And I think we can pull it off. And if we do pull it off, I think we're just going to completely get that one seed. We're not going to have any other chance of not having it. So I think they're going to get it. They're going to get that wrapped up and it's all going to work out. I think we're not going to have a repeat of last Christmas and just the horrors of what was, and we don't even want to talk about it. So
right.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. They'll be all right.
The Steelers are a tough opponent, and they are very up and down, kind of like the Chiefs, and they've been known to play to their opponents as well. Just lost to Baltimore on Saturday, right after Chiefs got done playing.
Yeah.
So, they're not going to be as well rested or as rested as the Chiefs are. At least they get to stay or go to Pittsburgh and stay there.
Mm-hmm.
They just played in Baltimore, whereas the Chiefs just hosted. But for me, it's going to be a close battle. I think Pittsburgh is going to play it tough. I think Indy always kind of has Pittsburgh / Mike Tomlin's number to some degree, and Patrick Mahomes has always been able to eke out wins against the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is the game, if the Chiefs win this game, then the number one seed is officially wrapped up because they could afford to not win the final game of the season and still be out ahead of Buffalo. So just having those 2 wins left to go would kind of clear that up. You took care of one by winning on Saturday. Now you just
Mhm.
have to take care of it by winning on Christmas, and instead of asking for another team to lose and to gain favor in that way.
True.
So I think this is kind of all set up for the Chiefs to kind of knock it out. It's a short turnaround, and we'll have to see what kind of levels we see from them because of that. I think ultimately we'll see quite a performance. I'm not saying it'll be perfect or lights out, but I think the Chiefs are going to go all out to win this game
Mm-hmm.
so that they can essentially take the rest of December, the first part of January, and even in the second part to rest, to kind of think about our plays, what we haven't been running, what's working, what's not working, who should be playing where and why, and who should be benched. Just hash out all these details.
Mm-hmm.
Give some guys who've been playing with injury a chance to get off their feet and rest a bit, and just kind of figure out what we've got. I think we've seen throughout the NFL, there's some teams, Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, Lions, some teams like that have really stood out amongst the entirety of teams.
Yeah.
Where games are only close when those teams play each other, and when they get put against another team, they're able to pull out the win.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're starting to kind of flesh out some of these teams as who's kind of worthy in being those playoff contenders. And the Steelers are one of those teams that are trying to kind of stamp their place and say, we are a true playoff team.
Yeah.
They're trying to officially make it into the postseason with a win. Probably not likely to win their division, but this could be a wild card team that the Chiefs may or may not see again. So I think the Chiefs take this seriously. I'm not saying that if there's a moment where the Chiefs may or may not concede like they did versus the Bills, and just kind of acknowledge if this game ain't the one, then we're going to try to win the one that's 10 days later.
True.
And be in the same position we would have been, just not gotten to have the extra rest and thinking time.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, if the Chiefs were to lose this game, it wouldn't hurt my feelings too much. And it would show that they've got bigger things in mind than just winning this particular game, and they're able to be more flexible. But I feel like it's very advantageous of them to kind of be on the road for Christmas this year instead of hosting the Raiders like they did last year. They can kind of play the reverse of last year and get to play the villain when the Chiefs already consider them are considered to be the villain of the NFL already.
Oh, yeah.
So why not just completely lean into that image, go to a fan base like the Steelers who think they're going to the Super Bowl and not beat the bricks off them, but show them what back-to-back Super Bowl winner is all about, and what the pursuit of a three-peat is. But the Chiefs have now had a history of playing on Christmas and taking the holidays away. So
true.
For those who have been watching us throughout and who will be following us as Christmas game and afterwards is rolled around, just want to say thank you all for being a part of our family.
Yes.
And just keeping track of us, and hopefully you're liking what we're doing, and hopefully we bring value to you in your life in some way, and hopefully we're just giving in some capacity to you something that just brings you joy and fulfillment. And just from the bottom of my heart, I just hope you all enjoy the holidays. Spend time with those that you care for and care for you, and just remember it's all about sacrifice and giving and for the betterment of others. So but yeah, any final thoughts about this Christmas game on the horizon?
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch them. It'll be fun, I think, for a lot of people during Christmas time, just to have it on in the background and kind of like check in here and there when they're kind of getting too much of family time and just kind of, oh yeah, cool. The Chiefs are up, blah blah. So yeah, that'll be fun. I'm excited.
Well, you guys are allowed to watch us in the background, but you guys who are watchers of us and us in particular know that we are not going to be having that Chiefs game in the background. We're going to be watching and studying every single second of the game. Otherwise, how else would we be able to give you great content such as this or the other content that my fellow contributors give to you guys on a daily, weekly, or whatever basis, depending on the show. So from all of us, I hope you enjoy the holidays. Merry Christmas, every other holiday that you celebrate. Enjoy that. Just enjoy this winter season that we are in, a time of giving and a time for love and joy and hope and all the positive aspects that we could have. And our Chiefs are playing some good football as this time's coming, and they're raising their levels, and we're raising our levels too. So hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your Christmas day and the rest of the week to come after that. And as always, go Chiefs.
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion. So please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom Media.